Okay, welcome back everybody to the Rich in Success podcast. Thanks as always for joining us. My name is Matt Hall.
My name is Daniel Ramsden.
And today, the calorie fucking deficit guy is in the house. I bet you're sick of people calling you that, right? Or do you like it?
No, give it 5 years. They'll be like, this is the guy. And I'm not sure quite what I'll be remembered by, but hopefully it won't be the calorie deficit thing. Maybe it might be something to do with debauchery, maybe something to do with sleeping with a celebrity who's really hot, might end up getting Angelina Jolie, something like that. No, I'm only joking. Yeah,
get it on that vision board, yeah? Make that the goal. James, how are you doing? We're glad you could make it. We've seen on your Instagram you're busy shooting your mate, so we thought you might be otherwise pretty busy.
Yeah, in Australia, it's really bad to say it, but I'll probably speak in too soon. We're about to have a second wave. From COVID, we've gone back to normal very much. And it's the evening here. So during the day, doing my work, doing my bits. I've been playing Call of Duty for about 3 hours today. And then, got a bit hyper. I knew I was coming on the podcast tonight. So I was staying in the house, so I wasn't late. And a couple of TikToks, having a bit of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that as well. You're not taking life and business too seriously, even though the platform that you have and the success that you've had in such a short space of time, it's still evident that you're having a really good time in the process. And I think that's a really important message for people to get hold of. Like, are you actually having fun doing what you're doing, whether it be in fitness or business?
Yeah, I definitely. I remember in the early years, I was taking it very seriously. We spoke about rugby very briefly before. When you have like a sniff of a gap, you have to go for it and you have to run really hard. And the hardest part is going at the gap. And once you're through it on the other side, you can have a smile. And I feel that now in my career, I'm past the contact. Although I was very slow when I played, I'd never have made it to score. And that's where I'm at the moment. And there are some days where I stress about things too much, and other days that I stress that I'm not stressing about anything too much. But I feel like I'm finding a happy medium. And the COVID-19 PlayStation, I don't know, is the best or the worst thing that's happened. So I was 8 years clean from a console before this.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Gaming, right? When I was younger, I remember being at university and seeing that I had like 32 days of my life online on Modern Warfare. Now that's just in games. That's a month of my life. So that's easily a good few months of online gaming. So when I was like 22, I was like, that's it, I'm done. Then COVID came. I was like, oh, you know what? To be a good citizen, I'm going to buy a PlayStation 4. I can't get enough of it.
Stay at home, protect lives, yeah? You're doing your bit. But this is something I was going to say as well, because you said in your book that you never actually finished reading a full book yourself till you was like 27, and you was labelled disruptive at school. Obviously now you've got your second book coming out. Just for the listeners, if you could just talk a little bit about how has this happened? How have you brought about this massive success being an author from someone that didn't really read books?
So at school, I had no interest to learn. And even now, with a new set of values, I went back to school. I remember reading of Mice and Men, and it's the worst book I've ever read. And I've read some fiction books. It's awful. Like it killed my love for reading, right? Then science I quite enjoyed, but then we had like religious education, right? And I thought I had my head screwed on. So when I went to religious education, I was like, this is clearly bollocks, right? Then we had food tech, learned how to make a pizza. I was like, Jesus Christ, like the school they say is a place for education. It's actually a place just to bore people. And all people think about are the breaks, where they can have a cheeseburger and a can of fizzy drink. And I'm not surprised really, because if I had to listen to them subjects, I'd probably go back to drinks that have sugar in them. And when I was in my early 20s, I kind of just followed the trend of what everyone else was doing. I very much lived for the weekend playing rugby. So then you need a job so that you have something to do between games. And then you have your training Tuesday and Thursday. Monday, you're still hungover from the weekend. Friday, your coach is watching your Instagram to make sure you're not out. Wednesday's your date night. And then, that was it for so long.
We've lived very similar lives, James, actually.
Yeah. And in a good and a bad way, I think a lot of people do that. And then when I became a personal trainer, I realized there was so much to learn. And for once, I realized if I learn a lot about my subjects, I can charge more, I can make more money. For the first time, I'd been probably, motivated. The smarter you get, not only can you eradicate these fears and self-doubts that every personal trainer has, when we start, we're there like we're a fraud. We're stood there, we're like, I don't know anything. We're like, we are the biggest frauds going because of the standard of the PT qualification.
You said, wasn't it like a 6-week course that you did and that's it, you qualified?
Yeah, I just spent the whole 6 weeks trying to hook up one of the chicks that was also on the course. And that was it. So like,
and then that's it, you qualified, yeah?
Yeah, no one failed. And right, so one guy on my course, I won't name him, I looked at him and I was like, I'm not being funny, mate, but what are you doing here? And he openly said, I'm on a PT course because I know nothing about fitness and I want to train people. And I was like, I admire that, but you're probably on the wrong course. And the dropout rate for personal training is huge anyway. And, you know, it just struck me straight away. I was like, this guy's going to fail. And he couldn't even pronounce some of the parts of the lungs, bronchi, bronchioles, whatever it was. And not that you need to use that, but I was like, mate, I don't feel like this person's fit for being a PT. And it sounds very elitist, but I'm more concerned about he's going to charge 35 quid an hour for that as soon as he comes through. And he passed first time. And I was like, what on earth is going on? And even the girl I was trying to hook up with, she wasn't fit to be a PT anyway. She was just fit. And, you know, like...
That helps sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, but the important question is, forget the qualification, did you hook up with her?
No comment. But like, it's one of those things, when I became a PT, I was obviously very worried about not knowing enough, that people were smarter than me. It was the first time I've really felt inclined to learn more. And I kind of just got a real habit of absorbing knowledge. And then you get into reading and things like that. And I suppose that trajectory started at 24 and it just carried on going. And running a PT business, to everyone thinks you're just a PT. And it annoys me when people say that, because I'm sure you're aware, you're a marketer, you're a videographer, you're a presenter, you're a therapist, you're a physical trainer, you're obligated to stay fit. You have all these different elements that you have to operate. So by the time I started my academy, I'd already been doing all these things for 4 or 5 years. So people go, oh, you're good on camera. I was like, I had to pretend that I wasn't tired in front of a client paying me a lot of money. I'm very good at putting on any face that I need to. I've been doing this for years. And yeah, it was really from there that kind of all this learning. And I still think that the human mind is very malleable. At school, I was a prick who didn't want to be there. And you can probably see that prick side of me when I'm on socials quite a lot. But then as I got older, I really, just really enjoyed learning, being challenged. And I wish that in the school setting, we still had the ability to challenge children and not bore them. Because I think we could stretch that fabric of what they can accomplish a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot, haven't we?
Yeah, it's scary really, because I was one of those kids and I was labelled like unintelligent, you know, you're not going to do much with your life. And it's just because I wasn't challenged in a way that I needed to be challenged. You know, I was a proper daydreamer. And if you're not stimulated by any content, and this is the thing about the fitness industry as well, I think too many people have too many conflicting, you know, like my tackle's bigger than your tackle kind of stuff. And you've got the keto people arguing with the intermittent fasting people, and then nobody gets anything done because they don't know who to believe, they don't know who to turn to. And that's why I really value and respect your message. Let's just keep it really simple. This is what you need to do, and this is how you need to do it. And you know, that it's one of those, isn't it, where let's try strip things back and make it more simple and enjoyable in the process. You don't need to like live like a Buddhist monk to be in shape, and most of the people don't want a six-pack anyway. You know what I mean? When you actually get to the nooks and crannies of a transformation, they're not bothered about being absolutely jacked and ripped up. They just want to be healthy and lose a little bit of body fat, and that's very easy to do.
I think a lot of people are very conditioned by other people's values, whether it's their parents, whether it's social media. So like a lot of the time I see a lot of families, or a lot of my friends grow up and they want to buy a house and have kids. And I was like, I chat to them and they're like, oh, I wish I could live your life. And I'm like, well, why are you buying a house and having kids then? And they've just been brought up. They've never actually challenged that. And the same with fitness. People come into the gym, and I bet you know this probably better than I do. They all say the same thing. I want to be healthy. I want to feel better about myself. I'm like, no. What do you want? They're like, oh, you know, 10 minutes later, I want to get laid more. I haven't had sex in 6 months. There we go. Cool. Like, it wasn't about the six pack. It was about something else. And then someone else comes in, oh, my boyfriend's not fucking me anymore. Okay, cool. That's what it's about. And people are conditioned to, you know, oh, I want to get into fitness to have a six pack. They don't. It's self-esteem, it's confidence.
Yeah.
It's to use the squat rack on their own. It's never really the six pack.
Yeah, that's it. And that's what you've got to unravel, isn't it? Like, why exactly are you here? Let's go a little bit deeper and find out a little bit more. And then when you get to the depth of it, that's when the action really starts to take place, because you really get the value and the understanding of what that person needs. But most of the time, it is a confidence thing, isn't it? That's what I've noticed over my career. It is that confidence within the people that you're working with.
There's obviously a lot of personal trainers online, on Instagram and all that kind of thing. It's quite saturated with people, you know, saying similar things, contrasting things. For you, obviously, it's blown up. In your opinion, what would you say is the main kind of, if you was to dissect how you've got to where you've got, what do you think is the thing that's made you stand out and get the successes you've had?
I think just consistency. I was tapping away at this for years before anyone was following me. 2014, I started on Facebook, and I just started even blog posts every day, WordPress. Hey guys, potato versus sweet potato. Hey guys, Romanian deadlift doesn't have to touch the floor. And there's not been a day where I haven't posted for years. And another way that people see this, my email list, where for 10 months I never made a sale on an email, but I still sent them every day. And just this consistency. And even now, I'll be hungover. I'll be in my deathbed. All right. Even if I'm seeing a girl, I'll be there and I'll roll over and I'll be like, I need to send a post. Like, she'll be like, what? Have a day off. I'm like, no, I need to get a post out. I haven't missed the post in fucking 3 years. You know, and it's so weird. You said you've done boxing as well, right? So when you're in boxing, you have your combinations, but sometimes you just throw a glove and it connects and you're like, oh my God, I didn't even expect that one. I was just throwing it as part of the combination. And I think I was being lazy one day when I posted female fat loss, which is one of my biggest ever videos. It's the fourth time I posted it. I've been drinking a lot that month, right? And the fourth time it went viral. Fourth time. And if I hadn't have been that little consistent annoying prick, it would never have gone viral, and it got 5 million hits that fourth time. And it's just those little things, those not being afraid, because the reason a lot of people don't repost is their insecurities that people will leave them. They've got this irrational fear that humans have. Oh, if I post that again, someone's going to go, oh, you fucking bastard, I've seen that before. But if you're posting good content, they're going to go, oh, fair plays. You know, it's just trying to do it again. I mean, boxing matches, they go twice. Entertainment, you know, same people fighting, slightly different outcome. And also, you can't expect everyone to see your post. That's naive. That's narcissistic. So, you know, when I repost, I park those insecurities that people can leave. And if they're that pissed off seeing a post twice, they can fuck off anyway. So, yeah, the consistency is the main thing.
I like that. That's quality. And that's a nice thing to reinforce as well. You know, we do. And you know what? I'm guilty of that as well. So thank you for reinforcing that to me. No, it's true. It's true, because you think, oh, that's not fresh. That's not fresh content. You want to keep people on the toes. But it's like, it resonates sometimes, even though it's exactly the same words and the same message. It just resonates at a different time sometimes, doesn't it? You know, like, you can hear it on a different day. Like, one day somebody can hear something, but oh, fuck off.
Be pissed off at it.
And then the next day, like, that's perfect. I needed that.
Thank you so much. I needed that. Yeah.
And also, you say to someone from a business standpoint, you're like, hey, do you want me to double your posting frequency for no extra work? Repost. And they're like,
just blew my mind.
Yeah.
So obviously your message is very simple, based on the calorie deficit. And obviously, I'm guessing that the statistics in Australia are far much better than it is in the UK. Why do you think it is that we are struggling still with global obesity? What do you think the main issues are with why we're not understanding that we just need to move a bit more and we need to consume a bit less and understand our calorie intake? What do you think the problem is?
I think lifestyles are definitely, I know that's quite a sweeping statement, but like, I found myself a few weeks ago, I ordered ice cream on Deliveroo and there was a knock at the door. I was like, I'm not getting that. I was like, I paid for this ice cream, someone else can go to the door. And I was like, James, Jesus, you didn't even go get the ice cream, you ordered it. It's 150 meters from my house, the Anita place, right? So there was the laziest that. I'm a personal trainer, right? Then when it got to my door, I wasn't willing to stand up to go get it. So we got that. right? So we got Uber Eats, we got Uber itself. Before, you'd be like, I'm just going to walk. No, I'll just get an Uber, you know, won't get a sweat patch or whatever it is, stay fresh. We've got food availability is, you know, more available than it's ever been. I do think that the internet and being sedentary and playing Call of Duty, things like that can be a part as well. I can have the best night of my life and not get out of bed. From gaming, you know, never have that same thing with a woman. No, I'm joking. That's one for a start. I do think that lifestyle is the main reason. I think that also it's easier for people to hide their own issues. So I do think that people currently were struggling with mental health more than ever. I'm not to say that everyone that's obese is struggling, but you know, we've never lived in a world where you could be having the worst day of your life and 3 emojis of a smiling face to your mates in a group chat and everyone thinks you're fine. And I think there are a lot of people that are just living lives where, one, they don't really like their job. Again, they're conditioned by people around them to stay in it for the wrong reasons. A lot of people are in relationships that all they do is moan once they've had a drink because they don't want to be in the relationship and they don't get out of it. So when you've got relationships and you've got your job and then you're left with food, I'm not fucking surprised. You know, if I hated my job, which I have done before, if I hated my missus, which I have done before, this was me. Well, I've been there before in my life. I enjoyed food, and if some little prick came in with a 6-pack telling me to eat less, I would have told him to fuck off. So I think from the ground up, this is really why I've transitioned from the first book to the second, because I've always thought this, and it was great, you know, doing Not a Diet book and teach people macros and fat loss, but really I was like, I need to, because when we're in the gym, I know, because personal trainer as well, I know you've done this conversation before, people come in, they're actually just unhappy, and you're not getting to the root of, you know, oh, too many carbs. It's right, you're not happy, and oh, my boyfriend's a dick. Well, get rid of him, because the revenge sex should be having with some other guy, you know, getting lean for dates. Every time someone's single, they get in shape, getting a new job, getting a new lease on life, starting a new something new. This really benefits people. I think people are really stuck in their ways of an unhappy life, and they think it's normal.
Yeah. Can you just tell us a bit about that? Obviously, you've had the Not a Diet book, and the new book is, as you say, Not a Life Coach. It's not out yet. Can you just tell us a little bit about what the approach to that book is, what people can expect, and also the tour you've got around it coming up?
So I wrote the book before really, you know, deciding a title for it. And basically, I was just getting out loads of things off my chest, which I want to say to people. Get out of relationships that aren't serving you, because you're not getting any younger, and your opportunity to find someone that's compatible for the rest of your life is slimming with every fucking day that you don't do anything. And just saying to people, you know, stop committing to these stupid first dates where you don't like the person, you get fucking smashed and fuck them anyway, because it's not doing anything for you. I've done it for 5 years and I'm not doing it anymore, right? In my early 20s, and in my early 20s, I did this, and it was a fucking waste, because then I could only do 1 date a week, and then it ruined my one. I didn't want to go on a date the next week because the last one was so shit. So I've got dating advice in there. Take someone for a coffee, walk them to their tube station. Jesus Christ, meet someone for 10 minutes, because in 10 minutes you can reduce every bit of anxiety for that proper date. So these little like kind of hacks. And then in the book as well, I'm very passionate about people not waiting to retire. I'm like, guys, this isn't a good dream. Like, you know, leaving yourself. I'm fucking 31. I'm tired. I can't stay out that late. If you're 25, you got 5 years left, right? Then the hangovers get worse, right? Stop waiting till you're fucking 60. And again, you know, why people are living these very dormant, unhappy lives, thinking that at 55 or 60, they're just going to stop and live this amazing life. They're fucking not. And we're in this construct. There's this blueprint to life that everyone's following. And I saw everyone in the fitness industry doing stuff shit, and I was like, you lot are cunts. That's rubbish. And I'm seeing everyone do it with life. And I'm like, what is everyone doing? You know, everyone's like, oh, you know, really want to get a mortgage. You talk to them for a bit like the person that wanted a 6-pack. They don't want a mortgage. They don't want the biggest debt of their life. They want to travel. But they think they're going to sell that house in 10 years and make loads of money and travel for free. I'm like, all it takes is one fucking viral disease. If COVID had a high fatality rate, if a third of the population got wiped out, your property portfolio is fucked.
Yeah.
Right? And in the world we live in, I don't think that's a good bet. You know, all these fucking
always
mistakes.
say, like, be valuable yourself, so that you've got the equity, not the building, because that can fluctuate and that can crash. And also, it's a massive part of why we're doing this, what we're doing today, because I lost my mum when she was 46, and it was just like 2-week illness, bang, that's it. And she was working very hard for a retirement that she never saw. And she had this when I retire dream. And this is exactly, and you've just hit the nail on the head again. And I just really hope that that message again just resonates with people, because we haven't got time to piss about, have we? That's the thing. And we just, there's too many people doing that.
It's quite a tough one, because my dad has retired in the last 2 years and he absolutely loves it. So I sometimes go home and I'm like, fair play. But I don't see this happening everywhere else. And he's old school. He doesn't have social media. He's not misled. My mum and dad, probably the best influencers ever. When they get fat, they put on their bigger jeans. That's it. My mum's like, oh, fucking hell, these are a bit tight. Best get my bigger jeans on. And like, that's it for her. Whereas everyone else, oh, fat strippers, all this other stuff. So there, I feel that our parents are the last generation that can really do that happily. I feel like we are too dopamine, this, smartphones, TikTok, everything. That's just not going to work out for us. And another statistic, let's say that I come to the conversation. I'm like, hey guys, I think this blueprint for life where you work for 40 years and then you retire is pretty fucked. James, what's your evidence for that? Well, here we go. Statistics, under 40, as a male in the UK, your highest chance of death is killing yourself. I seem to think that your construct is broken for that reason, because people are rejecting it. And, you know, it's one of those things, no one's talking about it. The nation is more obese than it's ever been, and Boris is there pushing adverts to 9 p.m. The nation is fucking pressing eject on their lives more than ever before. And fuck me, I just want to say to people in this book, like, you could be in Vietnam, sipping a fucking 30p beer, hitting pause on your life. 21-year-olds are now messaging me going, James, I don't know what to do in my life. And I'm saying to them, you could do nothing for a decade and still be very successful. So don't worry about it. Enjoy your 20s. Go do shit. Go to Vietnam. Lose a game of basketball with a monkey in Chiang Mai. You know, fall in love with a Swedish girl that doesn't speak English. Do all of this shit. For some reason, we're now being brought up to have such serious lives, and human beings aren't serious. Yeah. And that's the thing.
Yeah, that's a nice.
You just touched upon Boris Johnson there. I believe you've got a letter for him. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about that?
It was actually what the interview I was doing just before was for someone else. Like, I don't actually have a problem with Boris, because Boris, he's up here. He's got fucking a lot on his plate, isn't he? He's got coronavirus. He's got Brexit. He's got all of this shit. I very much doubt he gives a fuck about what is going on as far as obesity. But he's got a lot of pressure from the UK. Boris, we're fat. We've been locked inside for fucking ages. You know, all of this stuff. And as soon as COVID does subside, hopefully one day, even if we got a vaccine for COVID overnight, then the next wave will be climate change and obesity. So he's fucked whatever happens. You know, even if he curbed obesity, stopped COVID, then everyone will go, you're not doing enough for climate change, Boris. So either way, he's fucked. So I feel sorry for the bloke. But yeah, he's obviously got a little team beneath him that are like, right, now what can we do? What can we do? We do this, we push adverts, you know, we'll stop 2 for 1 on sweets. And it's fucking embarrassing from the outside. And you could tell there's just some old heads in there trying to do their part. We do something with Weight Watchers. But as a nation, you know, we do need to poke holes, because otherwise nothing will get done. And very similar, my approach now of being so direct is, if I was to ever, you know, run a sports team, if I dropped someone, I would tell them exactly why they were fucking dropped, because I want them to turn up to training and do better. And I feel as a nation, we're so fucking soft, where, you know, we can't just be like, hey guys, don't worry, you won't see a McDonald's advert till after 9 p.m. I mean, you're not allowed to swear on TV till after 9 p.m. That doesn't fucking stop people. It's not like, oh mate, you just swore at 8:45. Like, I don't see the point, if I'm honest. And again, they're saying in restaurants, oh, we're going to put the calorie count there. Brilliant. It's just going to be overlooked. There's nothing tangible there. And it certainly don't feel motivated. And I said in this last interview that you've got a privately educated man who goes for a run with his dog in the morning, that runs the country. No one can relate to that. No. People are single parents, on benefits, struggling with work, you know, fucking got enough on their plate. They don't feel that this very, you know, very well-spoken man running the country can really relate to their issues. Like I said about, you know, poor relationships, poor job, things they don't like, feel trapped, all of these things. Especially now, you can't even go overseas. Can't even go to move to Spain and work in a bar, which would have been my dream a few years ago. Fucking Brexit happened, and now COVID. You're stuck at home with your parents.
Yeah. You think, you know, when you touched on we're soft, generally as a population, globally, I feel. Do you think coming from a sporting background, being roughed up a bit, having to lose and having to brush yourself down time and time again from losing, getting knocked on your ass, doing different disciplines in sport has been a fundamental thing in keeping you grounded, going into your adulthood, going into business.
100%. And I wish that I discovered martial arts when I was younger, and I think it should be mandatory for kids. Like, and people turn their nose up at this, but when we're children, we fight all the time. We're never trying to hurt our friends, but we like to fight. You look in animals in the wild, everyone's play fighting, even puppies do it, right? Yeah. Something in us that likes to have combat between each other. Yeah. And I think that through these social and political and professional hierarchies, we hide that. You're not even allowed to call someone a cunt for being a cunt. They're like, oh, that's offensive. You know, well, we've gone from hundreds of thousands of years from killing each other with our bare hands. So suddenly you're not even allowed to swear at someone. And I think that this plays a big part into why there's like bullying in the workforce, probably abusive relationships, all of this stuff. And I think that people really, you know, should be more compassionate from a young age, because then you realize someone can literally beat the shit out of you. And it's one of the best things. It's the most humbling thing ever. And I feel that people do need to be humbled now and then. Yeah. And I think that growing up in a sporting background and now being in a martial arts environment, the whole world needs that. Yeah. Because quite frankly, we've got too many Karens.
Yeah, I noticed that with CrossFit. Because I come from a rugby background, I trained hard all my life. I started CrossFit and I got my ass handed to me by some old geezer. You know, he's like nearly in his 50s and he absolutely kicked my ass. And I was like, wow. And I felt like an absolute knobhead. But that was a great experience, and it actually allowed me to think, you know what, I've got work to do, and I have to improve, and I have to respect this discipline, because everything's a discipline. And I had to learn different things, different skills, and that again is humbling in its own right. And I think that's an important message, that we have to keep striving for that. You know, strive to almost get knocked back a bit and, you know, level down a little bit, because it is humbling, and it pushes us to be better ultimately, I think. So yeah, fantastic point again.
It's where you do the most learning as well.
It is. Who's been your biggest inspiration, James, in the fitness industry?
Oh, it's been a bit of a white space, if I'm honest. Where when I used to have these main like educators in the fitness field, and I made a list of them, and I'd learn all lots from different parts of them. And it was only really in the early stages that I realized I'm not going to be bigger than him, I'm not going to be leaner than him, I'm not going to be more experienced than him. But I realized they were all just pretty fucking boring. And they were. And they'll even admit that. And I suddenly realized, I was like, there's no one interesting in the fitness industry that you can have a laugh with. No one's going to bring sex and muscle building together and make an analogy, you know, that's going to include anal sex and you know, fucking some, like, I was like, no one's doing this. And I was like, if you look at stand-up comedy, people take everything and they can literally keep an audience captivated with what they say through just having a bit of crass and being a bit, you know, facetious. And I was like, no one's doing that. So there's no one to follow with, really. You know, in one of my last talks, you asked about the talks before. When I start the talk, I say to people, nudes are great. Being sent nudes is amazing until you've slept with someone. There's no point sending a nude to someone you've slept with. You've seen it before. And everyone that comes to the book talks, they haven't read the book. So I was like, these nudes are going to work. And I talk about bits that are going to be in the book, a bit like showing someone a nude so that they're interested enough to actually read the fucker. So in the talk, I'd do it. And in the first book, I spoke about the menstrual cycle. But at the talks, I was like, look, you've all heard me talk about the menstrual cycle. This isn't for the women, this is for the lads. And I did a talk for the lads. And I was talking about when to tell your missus you got a stag do, when to tell your missus you want this, what really the period is, and when's the good part, when's the bad part. And I had a lot of fun with the guys in the room where they have no idea. I said, guys, you think that the period is the bad part. That's blowjobs, and they're not in a bad way. I was like, the bad part isn't when they're bleeding. And, you know, I had some fun with it. And when I did that talk, I was like, fuck, who the hell am I competing with? There is no one above me doing this better than me, because it's not been done yet. And unfortunately, there's not really many people that I look up to in my own industry, which has made it good and bad in the sense. Bad that, you know, it's hard to kind of compare yourself to other people, but good because I could just keep a blinkers on mentality. And I do that every day. You know, I check my statistics of what happened yesterday. I think about what I need to do tomorrow. I don't have a diary. I'm not particularly organized. And I just take it like day by day. I do that.
Nice.
What is your sort of now, as you look to grow your business, your personal brand, what are your goals, and what are the things you're doing to constantly evolve and challenge yourself and grow as a brand, I guess?
So interestingly, on the side, like 20% of my day is taken up with jiu-jitsu. So I want to get my purple belt. That is something I want to do on the side. And genuinely, getting my purple belt in the next 2-3 years will probably make me happier than becoming a bestseller again. Like that's something that I struggle for every day. And I get beaten up, I get whooped by some blue belts. I think, fuck, I'm so far away. And no one's going to give that to me. I have to work for that. I have to turn up. I have to learn. I have to be a very good student. And you can't, that's almost at like my center of my life at the moment. Because if I get the good habits that are going to earn me my purple belt, everything else will fall into place. I need to eat well. I need to keep myself fit. I need to have some good aggression in training. If I don't take it to people in training, they'll bring it to me and I'll get fucked. So I take that into work as well, where some days, you can feel like you're doing really well in work. But I was like, if I don't keep this aggressive pursuit of doing what I do, someone's going to fucking tap me out. And so there's that. There's my event side of thing. So I'm really pushing to get these talks up. The capacity of the venues that we're doing on this next book tour are the biggest that I will have ever done. So I'm really stoked to try and sell those out. The academy in the background really is just about, it sounds kind of weird, as long as we're making more money than it's actually quite an expensive business to run with coaches, development, all of these things. And we don't make a crazy amount of money, although it's a relatively big business. And as long as I keep us in that safe zone where all of our coaches get paid, all of our members get their holidays that we go on, everything like that, that's kind of cool. And then where we see these little leaps in business opportunities, the academy will follow. So it's almost like having a bank account at the back where it kind of grows interest as time goes along. It's not an expensive platform because the memberships start about £8, but I love having that there because that builds a really strong community for the events, for the face-to-face things, for the book sales. And I like to think that although we have the online PT Academy in the background, that's just educating, it's churning through thousands of people, upskilling them about how to lose fat, how to train, what not to be misled by. I'm almost building this army of people that I've helped. And it's that secret weapon that people don't see. They don't see this little army of people that I'm cultivating. I play Call of Duty with some of my JSA members. I post in the group, I'm like, hey guys, this is my gamer tag. And some guy jumps into my party this morning, he's like, I'm in your academy. And I was like, sweet, let's go to the war zone, bro. Like, and to me, that's such a valuable asset that no one else really sees from the outside. Oh, James, you got a blue tick. Oh, you got this for free. Oh, blah, blah. I'm like, don't. I was like, I've got tens of thousands of people that are my mates. I've not met them yet. So as far as a business, that community, the events that go with it, the books that sell off the back of it, it's, yeah, everything like that is really just a goal. But like I say, I just wake up. If my members aren't happy, I'll know about it. If my business partner's not happy, I'll know about it. If my events tickets aren't going the way they should, I'll know about it. And I'm constantly just chatting to these people throughout the day.
Nice. You said with regards to helping people with the fitness goals, one thing that you won't do is necessarily help people prep for physique comps and bodybuilding. And obviously that you feel there's a lot of unnecessary side effects and things. Do you want to just talk about your views on that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been obsessed to the point I've taken anabolic steroids a few times. And when you're injecting yourself with testosterone in a bid to eradicate insecurities to no avail, you learn a lot of lessons. And whilst doing that, I was never keen to get lean, because I, from a personality trait, take a lot of happiness from food. As I grew older, I realized I wasn't alone. We all fucking take happiness from food. There are a select few people, they won't mind me saying this, are broken and they don't take happiness from food, and they do great in the fitness industry because they love to suffer and be lean, and they become fitness models. And suddenly you have all these broken people that are pushed to the top. Oh, wow, you're so fucking ripped. And the majority, it sounds really harsh, right? The majority of the best fitness models are well-trained anorexics. And it's great, it's very easy to not look like an anorexic when you take steroids. So we've got these incredibly lean men, these incredibly lean females. And then the whole competition sphere is about taking normal people and putting them up into that sphere, right? So to put them up with the well-trained anorexics, they only last a week and they step on stage and they pose a smile and then they leave. I feel very sorry for the natural categories because they don't get any of the good stuff. They can't have sex for 10 weeks. You know, women get pretty dry, lose their sex drive. Women have reported it hurts to sit down, even on a comfortable chair, because they lose so much fat around their butt. And then when we look at discontinuation of the menstrual cycle, losing, you know, low testosterone levels, all of this, to me, it screams take a fucking hint. And the worst thing is that we're dressing these people up in fake tan and definitely a fake smile. Any genuine smile coming from them would be the fact they know they're eating pizza in 2 hours. And it's really, to me, I look at it and I go, this is pathetic. And I've lost weight for holidays before. At our IFS event last year, I lost about 4 or 5 kilograms before we went. It was 4 days. I got loads of pictures of my budgies, and then I fucking went back to my normal weight again from being hungover and ordering sandwiches to the room when I was pissed. Like, I can get behind. Someone comes to me and goes, James, I'm in good shape. I want to get lean before I go away. I'm like, sweet, let's do this. But when it comes to competition, I feel that a lot of people doing it are PTs again, looking to get some kind of gratification. I'm a PT, I'm insecure. I want people to know that I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to compete, and I just can't get behind that.
Yeah, it's an elusive goal as well. I think that people look at it and it's like, I want to look like that. And it's like, you can't look like that, because that's like, it's very momentarily.
That's the day.
It's not long. You're not going to stay there. You're going to fluff up a bit. You're going to put a bit of fluid weight back on. You can't stay there. It's not sustainable, and it isn't healthy. You're completely obsessed with food, and that, you know, it's a really refreshing conversation to have, because we need more people to say these messages, because the fitness industry is just saturated by fucking idiots. Like, I went to FIBO a few years ago. I had a fitness invention that I was trying to take to market, and I went to FIBO in Cologne. Do you know the big fitness convention?
Yeah.
And I went. Like, it's absolutely insane to go. Really good experience, but all the fitness models and the people in the bodybuilding community and people that were, you know, doing signing autographs and what have you, they're not healthy. And in fact,
no.
The guys who were next to me in the elevator when I was in my hotel, Rich Piana, do you remember him?
Yeah.
And he's not here now. And he was celebrated as an icon in the fitness industry, and he could hardly walk. He was that big, he couldn't walk. He were absolutely blowing out of his ass. That's not fitness. That's not health. So,
and also,
they're freaks.
I think another thing just to add to that is there's so much emphasis on supplementation, isn't there, when you're at those events, and just in general, the fitness industry is always trying to push these products on us. In your experience, James, and also your research, what would you say to any listeners that are looking to get into supplementation? What would you say are the least effective or the most ineffective? And also, do you want us to explain like how much of a small percent supplements are, period?
So Rich Piana had his own supplement that was called like the 5% or something. I can't remember what it's called, but it was like branched chain amino acids. And bar a little bit of muscle soreness, it may help prevent their use of supplements. And the really sad thing is, if you were to take someone who is in normal shape or even natural shape in the normal world, really smart person, and put them next to supplements and try and sell them, people would go, they don't work. They don't work. They go, you're not big enough, you're not muscular enough. If, you know, even if I was to try and sell supplements, someone would go, but you're not big. Do you even lift, bro? We are now conditioned, you need to have someone who is an experienced steroid user to stand next to supplements for any efficacy to be there. They call it anabolic whey or whatever it is. The wording that's used is all to mislead people. At the end of the day, anabolic whey or not is just part of the cheese making process. So when people hear that, they know, oh, well, yeah, whey protein is a waste product from cheese that has been inflated over the years. Creatine, underestimated, very good in short bouts of like performance. Anything high intensity going to help you there. Helps you regenerate quite quick. And it also can help you from a cognitive standpoint. I could be wrong. Parkinson's or Alzheimer's patients, one of the two, are now being given creatine to help them with their symptoms. Could be wrong on that one. Branched chain amino acids, waste of fucking time. Glutamine, arginine, leucine, all of these, again, glutamine hasn't shown to have healing properties outside of the gut. So maybe if you've got a gut disorder like Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, maybe take it. Leucine, some new studies coming out now. If you eat enough protein, not going to benefit you at all. And really, all these people get so much bullshit when they go to the supplement store. And unfortunately, even people will confess, the models in the magazines, they're like, yeah, I'm on steroids, and they need to be, because if someone has a moral compass in the fitness industry, someone who doesn't will come along and take their gig. And interesting what you said about them not being well. Two friends of mine are both sponsored athletes with brands in the UK, and I met them once for dinner, and one of them was really tired, and she was like, I've been on 1,500 calories for like 4 months. She's like, I wasn't supposed to be, but these photo shoots kept coming in, and in between, she's like, I can't not come off it, because if I look bad at one of these photo shoots, I could lose my sponsorship. And for some of them, they can get like 20, 30 grand a year. And that's your mortgage or your rent or your car payments. So that 1,500 calorie, the weight of holding that isn't just your brand, it's your car payments, it's your home, it's the key you put in the door each night. And I was sat there, I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm trying to lose a bit of timber before I go to Ibiza with the boys. What you have is a whole different story. And it was really sad to see, because looking at her stuff, I don't think she's managed to have any time off since.
Yeah. What do you think is the worst advice that stands out to you in the fitness industry? What have you heard of recent times, or is there anything that stands
It has to be. It's just that everyone's so focused on who's got the best exercise, and like I love this analogy where I say to people, like, fundamentally, people in their bathroom, they've got a big leak, big mess. When you look at someone, big mess, and everyone's so focused about how they're going to clean up the floor. So, one person's here doing HIIT, someone's doing, Orange Theory, F45, whatever it is. And my position is to be like, hey guys, stop what you're doing for a second. Why don't we stop that fucking leak for a second, right? No one's talking about this. Everyone's pussyfooting around, not talking about, I'm like, let's plug that fucking leak. Because once that leak's plugged, we're good, we're golden. Now, do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Because Karen might want to do a fucking walk. Someone else might do a dog walk. Someone else might want to do HIIT. Someone might want to do weight training. When I get in my best shape, I manage my calories. I eat protein all day, even plain chicken out the fucking packet from M&S, just to help with the hunger. I drink Diet Coke, and my gym training sessions are boring as fuck. They take an hour and 20 minutes. I spend half the time on my phone, and my sets are painful and unenjoyable. But it works.
Oh, I love it.
And that's hard to sell to someone, because I'm like, I need 90 seconds rest. And people see me in the gym, they might even be like, oh, he's a personal trainer, he shouldn't be sat around. I should be fucking sat around. I'm taking rest between sets, dickhead. It's one of those things.
And it's finding what works, doesn't it? That's it, that ultimate thing. What works for you, and this is what you've got to explore with yourselves. And a trial and error system. I've got a few fat loss clients that are coming to a close at the minute, and it's like, whatever you're learning now, this is your learning for your body going forward. Don't just use this momentarily. This is what you need to equip yourself with, the knowledge of when you want to just flip back into that mode, you can. You don't need to rely on an external source all the time. You can do this. A lot of people, I think, they struggle with their own accountability and discipline as well. I think that's one of the biggest obstacles that I see generally with people. They really struggle with that discipline and that accountability. Like, is this right? Am I okay to do this? And then they almost answer their own question immediately after, that kind of thing. Like, everyone's really still unsure.
It's crazy as well. When you understand that, like exactly what you say, once you know your body, you can let it go quite a lot. And I've had this probably in the last few years. I've let myself go 4 times where I'm like, fucking hell, James, you need to get a grip. But this is the bit that people don't want to hear. You can get fit in 3 weeks. You can get in shape in 3 weeks. And people are like, no, you can't. Yeah, you fucking can. You'll be a grumpy cunt. You'll be hungry. You'll complain the whole time. You'll have to exercise a lot, and you'll have to eat a lot more vegetables. But 3 weeks for the normal person, they can do a tremendous amount in 3 weeks, but they don't fucking want to. And once they've learned how to do it, knowing that you can whip it back in 3 miserable weeks is such a good, powerful tool to have. And people seem to think we should be like baseline, but we're not. This is how we work as humans all the time. And once you know the process, the getting fat bit isn't the problem. It's not knowing the other side of the curve.
Yeah, love that.
Shall we jump on the this or that section? So we've got a few questions where you've just got 2 alternatives, and you just give us what you think applies to you. So number 1, would you rather have 2 coffees a day or no caffeine in your diet?
2 coffees a day, 100%.
Animal products in your diet or vegan?
Animal products, 100%.
Do you prefer weights or cardio?
Weights, for definite.
Country life or city life?
City life.
Yeah. Man likes parties, yeah?
Yeah, I get that vibe.
Yeah.
Next one is meditation or reading?
Reading.
4 hours of sleep or 10 hours of sleep?
10 hours.
Build a brighter future or become more at peace with your past?
Ooh. Brighter future.
Yeah.
Being broke but in love or wealthy and alone?
Broke but in love.
Beautiful.
It's the lover, man. James, it's been an absolute pleasure. I could literally chat to you all day. Thank you for so much value and so much honesty, so much insight. If people want to find out more about you, not that they will already know, but where can they find you online? When's the book out? Give us a bit of info.
James Smith PT on socials, jamessmithacademy.com for the online training academy. Book's out on the 26th of November, not a life coach. And if they follow me on socials, they'll be getting bombarded with it to the point they're going to unfollow anyway. But if they unfollow, they weren't right for me, so it's all right. I won't be insecure about it.
There you go.
Mate, I could have spoken to you all day. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for taking the time out to chat with us. And you keep shining bright, mate. Keep doing your thing. You're doing an awesome job.
Thank you very much.
Final question, just before we let you go, that we ask all our guests. What is your definition of success?
Doing what you want, when you want, for how much you want.
There you go.
Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, James Smith PT. Hey!
So there you go. That was our conversation with James Smith. If you found this valuable, I'd really appreciate it if you could share this episode. Stick it in the inbox of one person that you know is definitely going to take value from listening to this today. And also, if you can share it on social media, stick it on your Instagram stories, on your Facebook, on your Twitter. Do a TikTok about it if you want to do a song and dance about how amazing this episode is. Whatever. We would massively appreciate the support in order for us to help get our message out there to a wider audience so that we can make a bigger impact in more people's lives. And tomorrow's episode in particular is for some of you singletons out there. We're talking about tips on how you can become more attractive as a person. Got loads of advice in there. As a personal development coach, this is a massive part of what I work on with a lot of people. A lot of people struggle with confidence and want to get more information and insight in how they can have better relationships and also, as vain as it may sound, become more attractive to be able to win over that person that they want to win over. So do not miss tomorrow's episode. Some great insight again for you to be able to learn, take away and implement into your own life. Next week, we are back. I'm going to be sitting down with a fellow personal development coach, Mr. Steve Burgess. Steve Burgess has gone from having a normal, regular 9-to-5 job just 3 years ago to making over £500,000 working for himself. If you want to find out exactly how he did that, we have a chat about that. We also talk all things about why people need a coach in their life, no matter who they are. We're talking mindset, we're talking business, we're talking branding, and we're talking fitness. Another fantastic episode awaits next week. And don't forget as well, coming up very shortly, we've got part 2 of our 53-hour world record marathon live stream broadcast that we did back in July. So there's lots of different people that are joining us on there, including Emmerdale actor James Hooton, lead singer from 911, the boy band, Mr. Lee Brennan, nutritionist Ben Coomer, Para-Olympian Mark Colburn, and lots of other absolutely fantastic guests join us as part of that special anniversary episode that we did. So part 2 is coming out. If you've not already heard part 1, that is available right now. It is episode 100. On there, we've got Coronation Street actor Peter Ash, BAFTA-nominated actress Ruth Madeley, rugby league legend Henry Paul, integrative medical doctor Sumi Chatterjee, as well as some other fantastic guests. So there's plenty of amazing content back there through the archives, as well as some more fantastic, incredible content coming up. I hope you've taken value from today. I hope to see you next time on the Rich in Success podcast as the journey continues.
Thank you so much for listening to today's Rich in Success episode. If this episode has impacted you, there's a few things we need you to do to help support the show right now. Please spread the word. Tell a friend that you think needs to hear our message and subscribe to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher or Google Play. And please give the show a 5-star review. Don't forget to also like our social media pages and tag us on your Instagram stories. Your support means the world. Thanks again, and let's keep growing together.